LinkedIn is without a doubt the most powerful platform for executives, employees, CEOs, leaders, founders, whoever you are. It is the most powerful platform to build a personal brand that actually generates revenue. And I'm about to give you the exact strategy that's generated me over $1.2 million for my business. Over the past 16 months, I've gone from a measly 2,000 followers on LinkedIn to 44,000 followers, and I've generated $1.2 million directly from the platform. I've had posts hit millions of impressions. I've had one post hit 8.1 million impressions, and I've also been helping executives turn their personal brands into million-dollar assets through my agency. But here's what I keep seeing happening. Most executives or leaders or CEOs are either posting generic corporate content that gets ignored, or they're not posting at all because they think LinkedIn is just for job hunting and HR stuff or happy to announce or hiring. The truth is, LinkedIn has evolved into one of the most powerful business development platforms on the planet. And frankly, while everyone else is still playing it safe with boring content on that platform, there's a massive opportunity for executives, leaders, CEOs, just people who understand the platform and know how to use it strategically. So in this video, I'm giving you my exact no gatekeeping here. I'm giving you my complete LinkedIn content strategy and the exact 5 content types that are going to drive real business results. My proven content calendar that you can copy. But more importantly, I want you to understand the psychology behind why this works so well for high-level executives, leaders, CEOs, and folks that just want to build brand right now. Now, I always have to give this disclaimer. People always ask me, Casey, why would you put all this stuff out there? And I need you guys to really understand this. There is enough out there for us to all win. Me doing my part and just sharing the knowledge that I'm learning does nothing to impact the wins that I have out in the world and helps people like you. So please, please, please listen into this video, tap into this video, get your notebook, your pen and paper, because just like every other video, we're not holding anything back in this one. So let's get into it. Now, first, let me explain why LinkedIn is so powerful, especially if you are in corporate or you have your own business, what have you. It's because LinkedIn isn't just another social media platform, but it's a business development engine. And unlike Instagram or TikTok, where you're competing for attention with funny videos and entertaining videos and people dancing, LinkedIn users are already in that business and buying mode, right? They're thinking about problems, solutions, growth, and revenue. So when they see your content, they're asking, can this person help my business? Can we partner in some way? I wonder what this person is thinking. You are meeting your potential client or your potential partner or collaborator in a mode where they're already thinking about business and growth, and on a platform where they're already thinking about these things. Now, I need you guys to understand this. If you guys don't know a lot about my background, the first platform that I actually scaled and started growing pretty fast on was TikTok. I have around 100,000 followers, I think, on TikTok. I still use the platform here and there, but mostly for fun now, because what I realized was, like, when it comes to our business, and the key driver that I provide to our business is awareness. So as a CEO, I have to do my part and do my duty to help our team and help our company. And the way that I help our company is to bring in leads, bring in revenue. Once I started going all in on LinkedIn, even at my first 5,000 followers, was outperforming every other platform that I had, including TikTok. The other thing about this that I love is that LinkedIn's algorithm heavily favors authentic, business-focused content right now. So again, while everyone else is posting generic motivational quotes on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to announce, or I got this new job, the platform is starving for real expertise and genuine insights and just, frankly, authenticity right now. But here's the real secret. LinkedIn also allows you to build trust at scale. When someone sees you consistently sharing valuable insights, they start thinking of you as an expert before you even have a sales conversation with them. And in my case, I've seen executives generate 6-figure consulting deals, land new board positions, and build million-dollar partnerships directly from LinkedIn relationships. I need you guys to hear me when I say this. It's not about follower counts on this platform. It's about building influence with the right people. Now, here's how I think about LinkedIn content strategically. It's like a business development funnel and not just random posts hoping something sticks. So first, you have your top of the funnel or your authority content. And generally, I like this to be 20 to 30% of the content that we put out for myself or my clients. This is the content that establishes you as a thought leader. These are your personal stories, your contrarian insights, industry observations. The goal with this type of content is to get people to think this person sees things differently. Then you have your middle of funnel content. This is your value content. And generally, I like this to be 60% of the content we push out, again, for myself or our clients. And this is where you demonstrate your expertise. This is where you show your frameworks, your case studies, lessons you're learning. People should walk away from this content saying, I learned something valuable that I can use immediately. This is the content where you really start transforming folks. And the last piece of this funnel is bottom of the funnel, and this is your relationship content. I like to think of this as around 20% of the content. And this content is the one that starts conversations. This is questions, this is polls, this is calls for advice, this is where your CTAs are. The goal here is to get people engaging and moving relationships off platform, i.e. we're pushing people to our newsletters or to a live or to an in-person thing that we're doing. Now, most folks on LinkedIn make one or of two mistakes. They're either posting too much top of funnel content and they just become LinkedIn influencers with no business results. I've made this mistake, I know. Or they post too much bottom of funnel content and you come across as salesy. So this ratio that I'm explaining here helps keep you in the sweet spot. I also recommend 3 posts per week minimum. Now, I used to post 6 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but I've now cut it back to about 3 to 4 times a week, and my engagement has actually increased because now I'm spending a little bit more time to make each post valuable and put something really thoughtful out there. Now, the first content type that's absolutely crucial for executives and leaders, people trying to build on LinkedIn, is the contrarian take. This is where you challenge your conventional wisdom that exists in your industry. Why does this work? Because folks are tired of seeing the same recycled business advice. So when you share a genuinely different perspective, people pay attention. Plus, it positions you as somebody who thinks independently, which is exactly what high-level people want to see. Again, whether you want to do TED Talks, write a book, get new clients, these people in the positions or in the seats that make these decisions, they want people that think differently. They want high-level thinkers. And high-level thinkers have their own opinions, which may be contrarian to the average industry thoughts. If you guys want to see this an example, my biggest viral post was about Serena Williams and how she could freely express herself at the Black Center Super Bowl halftime show. But she faced criticism for that same behavior at Wimbledon. That post hit 8.1 million impressions solely because it challenged people's thinking about authenticity and professional environments. So here's how to structure these posts. I want you to first start with a bold statement that goes against common belief. I want you then to provide context or a story that illustrates your point, and then explain why the conventional wisdom is wrong. Lastly, I want you to wrap this post up with your alternative perspective. That Serena Williams post didn't just get views. It started conversations with CEOs who said, finally, somebody's talking about these real issues. And those conversations then turned into 6-figure deals for my agency. I want you to ask yourself, what does everyone in my industry or niche believe that I think is wrong? What practices do I see that make no sense? What advice do people give that I disagree with? If you can answer some of those questions, that is your contrarian content. And as you guys know, when it comes to content, the hooks matter the most. So here's 3 example hooks that you can use. Everyone says X, but here's why that's backwards. Number 2, and you guys, if you go look at my content, I use this one a lot. I'm going to lose followers for this, but insert your take. And the last one, the biggest lie in insert your industry is. The second content type is the behind the scenes lessons. And this is where you share what you're actually learning from running your business, not textbook theory. Other leaders and executives and your potential clients want to see how you handle real situations. They're not interested in generic business advice. They want to know how you've navigated a difficult client conversation, how you've structured a partnership deal, how you deal with the stressors of being a parent and a founder, how you've handled a team crisis. They want to see the real you, the vulnerable you, and how you're going through hardships. An example of this is I share a story of how I waited 11 months to create my first lead magnet and how that mistake probably cost me millions of dollars. That vulnerability and truly breaking down the numbers behind it and the business lessons resonated because other folks, especially people in my ICP, could relate to making the same strategic mistakes. So here's how I want you to structure posts like this. First, I want you to say, here's what happened. Here's the situation. Here's what I did wrong or right, the action. If you want to get a little bit more reach, say what you did wrong. Here's what I learned, which is the lesson. And here's how you can apply this, which is the takeaway. The key is sharing lessons from things that have actually happened, not hypothetical scenarios. People can smell fake stories from a mile away. Like we have been saturated with scams and content at this point. People will spot it. But when you share genuine experiences, genuine vulnerability, and genuine failures, it builds trust immediately, my friend. These posts for me consistently get the most engagement from other business owners, ICP folks, and even collaborators because they're getting real insights that they can't find in business books or other generic LinkedIn posts, and it makes me stand out from the noise on the platform. Again, here's some example hooks when you make this content. I made X dollar mistake last month. Here's what I learned. 3 months ago, I had to fire a customer or a client. Here's why. The conversation that changed my entire business strategy. Now, the third content type is frameworks posts. These are going to be your proprietary systems, processes, or ways of thinking that other executives, leaders, your potential clients or customers can immediately apply. And here's the thing. People love frameworks because they're actionable. And instead of abstract advice, you're going to be giving your ideal customer or client a step-by-step system that they can implement. Plus, again, it positions you as someone who has systematized their expertise. I have a few frameworks out there that I share a lot, but I have one framework called Personal Brand is Your Retirement Plan. And it's where I break down how executives can build personal brands that actually generate income. Posts about this framework consistently drive leads because it's a unique way of thinking about something they actually care about: impact and income. So the structure for these posts: 1, I want you to give it a memorable name. 2, I want you to break it down into 3 to 5 clear steps. Explain each step briefly, then provide a real-world example of how it works. The goal is that somebody could read your post and immediately implement that framework. Here's the hack here. Framework posts get saved and shared more than any other type of content. When a client or customer finds a useful framework, they'll share it with their team, they'll save it to look back on later, which is going to only amplify your reach and solidify you as a thought leader. These posts often get screenshot and shared in Slack channels and group messages. I've seen somebody save one of my frameworks as the background on their computer screen. So again, this means you're going to be getting in front of people who aren't even regularly following your content, or you're going to become such a solidified thought leader into your ideal client customer profile that there is going to be no way they say no when you offer them something to buy. Now, here's some example framework ideas: your decision-making process, your hiring methodology, your strategic planning approach, or your client onboarding system. Now, the fourth content type is industry insights. This is where you're going to analyze trends, news, or changes in your space and share your expert perspective. Most leaders are consuming industry news or know what's going on in the market, but they don't comment on it publicly. And when you're the person consistently providing thoughtful analysis, you become the go-to expert that people think of. I actually call this news jacking, like hijacking the news. And you will see that I do this often on LinkedIn. I take current events and I find the business lesson or personal brand angle, because that's my angle on LinkedIn. For example, when things are happening, whether that be in the sports world or in the entertainment world or in the business world, I will analyze that news that everybody's talking about and see what angle I can find if it makes sense for personal branding or business strategy. So here's the framework on how to structure these posts. Here's what happened. I want you to insert the news there. Here's what most people are missing. This is going to be your unique insight. And here's what this means for our industry, the implication. Lastly, it always needs to end with the action. Here's what you should do about it. Now, the key here is being one of the first to provide intelligent commentary. This is going to be the biggest key into making this news jacking system work. And for me, I spend around 20 to 30 minutes each morning just scanning industry news, looking at what's trending on Twitter or X, and looking for opportunities to just add in my perspective. These posts from a business perspective are going to position you as somebody who understands market dynamics and can spot opportunities that others miss. And that's exactly what your ideal clients or customers or folks that are going to hire you to speak on their stages, that's exactly what they are looking for. Example topics that you can do: funding round, product launches, fitness news, regulatory changes, acquisition announcements. There's so many different topics that you can explore. And for me, again, you can go look at my post. I use a lot of current events like award shows, like the Grammys, the NBA Finals. I'm a big sports fan, so I talk a lot about sports and the news that comes up in sports, and I relate that to the topics that I talk about on LinkedIn. Now, this fifth content type is relationship builders. It is key for building relationships. And these posts are designed specifically to start conversations and move relationships off platform. Now, why is this crucial? It's because LinkedIn, I need you guys to hear me when I say this, is just the starting point. The real business is going to happen in the DMs, the emails, or even on phone calls. These posts are designed to start those conversations. So instead of just broadcasting information, you're going to be creating opportunities for two-way conversations, especially with your ideal customers, clients, or collaborators. So when somebody comments with their own experience or asks a follow-up question, that's your opening to move the relationship forward. Here's an example. I'll post questions like, what's the biggest personal branding mistake that you've seen people making? I do these open-ended questions because then the comments become relationship opportunities. Somebody's going to share their challenge. I'll offer to help them, or they'll share some advice and I will thank them. And that can turn into a conversation that continues in the DMs, potentially turn into either a consulting conversation, becoming a client in our agency, or becoming a collaborator with me in some regard. Here's the framework for these types of posts. I want you to share a perspective or experience, then end with a genuine question that invites others to share their thoughts. The key is asking questions that's going to reveal real business challenges that you could potentially solve. And the follow-up strategy here is that when somebody leaves a thoughtful comment on one of these posts, that's your cue to move the conversation to the DMs. My highest value clients have come from conversations that move to DMs, then to phone calls, then to contracts, my friends. And this is relationship building at scale. So here's exactly how I organize my 3 to 4 posts a week. Monday is typically my contrarian take, just start the week off strong. Wednesday is generally either a framework or a behind the scenes lesson for value. And Friday is either an industry insight or a relationship builder to end that week on engagement and just start those conversations. For my ideal clients, a lot of them actually chat through the weekend because they have some downtime. So that's why I generally do those types of posts on Friday. The planning process for me, usually I spend Sunday mornings just planning the week's content, right? I review my calendar for interesting conversations or meetings that I had. I scan the news for insights. I just think about what lessons I learned that week. Your best content is going to come from your real experiences. It's going to come from your client conversations, team meetings, networking events, books you're reading, YouTube videos you're watching, and mistakes that you're making or have made, right? It's all content if you approach it strategically. Now, here's one thing that I do before I post anything. I ask myself, would I pay $1,000 for this insight? If not, I don't post it. And that's how you build a reputation for consistently valuable content. Now, the key to consistency isn't having perfect ideas every time. Y'all, get out your head here. It's about having a system that generates ideas automatically. When you know what type of content you're posting each day, now you just need to fill in that specific content. Shifting gears a little bit here because I feel like we've been talking a lot about vanity metrics like likes, comments, and followers. But as business folks, CEOs, leaders, people trying to build personal brands, I need you to focus more on these key metrics: meaningful conversations, email subscribers, meeting booked, and deals closed. Those are the metrics that really show if you are going in the right direction or not. I personally track 3 things weekly: how many meaningful DM conversations I had, how many people joined our email list, and how many business opportunities came from LinkedIn. Outside of that, that's all that matters. Not my follower count, not my impressions. I use those numbers to get people to watch these YouTube videos, but truly those numbers do not matter to me. The most valuable metric is relationship quality. I'd rather have 100 engaged executives and CEOs and leaders following me than 10,000 random people. Quality audience beats quantity audience every single time. And now for people just starting out, I want to level set with y'all. Let's level set here. Expect 6 months to build meaningful momentum on this platform. Expect 12 months to see consistent business results. LinkedIn is a long-term relationship building strategy. It is not a quick win. And you guys know I'm always keep it 100 with you, so I always have to level set there. If you are not willing to play the long game in this personal brand building journey, just get out the game right now. So here's my challenge for you. I want you to pick one of these 5 content types and publish 1 post this week. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Start with good enough and improve as you go. And if you make this post, DM me a screenshot of it or the link to it on LinkedIn so I can come and interact with it. Now, remember, LinkedIn isn't about becoming an influencer. It's about building relationships at scale with people who can impact your business. And every post should serve that goal. Right now, while most leaders and creators and executives are still thinking of LinkedIn as a resume platform, you have the opportunity to build a massive competitive advantage by treating it like the business development engine it really is. And my friends, if you want my complete LinkedIn system and brand building guide, it has all my posts and templates and all that stuff, just click the link below. It will be dripped out to you over the next 5 days. It is completely free. And again, why do I do stuff like this? Because there is enough out there for us to all win. You need to hear this. Your personal brand is your insurance policy. Your personal brand is your retirement plan. And the relationships you build today on LinkedIn will pay dividends for decades. Question isn't whether you should start, it's whether you'll start before your competition does, or the platform just gets saturated like every other platform. With that, my friend, I'll see you in the next video.